All right, so here we go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this series of sessions. We'll be calling different speakers to share about living a healthy, wealthy, and wise and a happy life. Our first session today is on nutritive balance, finding nutritive balance, and I'm very happy to welcome Rajshree Dave here. I've known Rajshree for more than 25 years. We really go back a long, long time. She's really a wonderful person who walks her talk. And I was just sharing with her, there are very few people I know who are as good in organizing and managing stuff the way she manages to. So she's a certified yoga teacher. She's an integrative health and nutrition coach. And she literally lives and her belief in the infinite wisdom of the body to heal itself and keep optimum health. Very much in line with what we do in pranic healing. I know many people here are pranic healers. Maybe there are others who are not, but very much in line with what we believe in pranic healing as well. And all of this comes from her own journey, to which I've been a testimony. I've seen her, known her way back in those days when she wasn't keeping that well. And I've seen that amazing transformation that she went through by educating herself and practicing on everything that she learned. So she basically, having had that experience and the kind of person she is, she shares all this experience and knowledge to help empower people to take charge of their own health and actually become healthy. So today's session, of course, we are going to be talking about the role of nutrition and how to find a balance in our nutrition to move towards optimum health. That is the purpose of today's session. And without taking any more time, I'll leave the floor to Rajshree. Please take it away. The last 5 minutes is when maybe we can take 10 minutes. We can take up questions, but right now I'll leave it to her. So if you have questions, please note them down. We won't take breaks in between. Maybe we'll, so that the flow is maintained, but we'll take up the questions at the end of the session. Is that okay? All right. So over to you, Rajshree. So there you are.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you for those very kind words. And thank you for the introduction. A very good evening to all of you. Okay. And thank you for having me for this session, Nina. I know that you are just starting the series, and we've had a session with one of your groups a long time back, probably a couple of years back or so. So I don't know how many of those members are overlapping. Some of them may be there, but I'm going to, divide my session into two parts. The first part of my session, I'm going to talk a little bit about health and nutrition and nutritive balance, which is a subject of today's discussion, a little bit in terms of the basic concept and understanding. And then I'm sure a lot of you will have questions in your mind that, okay, all this is nice in theory, but how do you kind of put it into practice on a day-to-day basis? So we will talk a little bit about that. I don't mind if we have even 15 minutes of Q&A, Nina, because I know that a lot of people may have questions, and I think it would be a better idea to kind of address questions, because people will always think about it in very, very practical terms. How do I put this into action? So happy to kind of divide it into 45 minutes and then 15 minutes of Q&A, if that's fine with you. Okay. So today's discussion, the subject, when Nina and I were discussing it, we were thinking about, okay, where will we start? And we seem to have a brief chat on nutrition, that we were having. And I said, you know what, Nina, the best thing to start with is let's talk about the concept of nutritive balance per se, because what does it even really mean? What does nutritive balance mean? And let's kind of try to dive into it. First of all, let's try and understand what this word nutrition means. I think most of you, if I were to ask this question, you will say that, well, nutrition is something that provides nourishment to the body, right? Anything that we ingest or take in that will provide nourishment to the body can be termed as nutrition. Now, nutrition, the word comes from another noun, which is nutrients. What our body requires as a building block, the physical body, what it requires as a building block is what we term as nutrients. Moment we talk about nutrients, people start thinking in terms of carbohydrates and proteins and fats and vitamins and minerals and all that. While scientifically, yes, these are all the building blocks that are nutrients for the body. I would actually like to first define nutrients as anything that energizes the body. Anything that will provide energy to the body is a nutrient. And therefore, the term nutrition can therefore should be extended by this definition to all inputs that the body can receive that can provide energy to the body. Okay, so I'm going to just park this thought in your head, and then we will now start talking a little bit more about us as a body. Okay, now a very interesting fact. You know what happens in the African deserts of the savannah? In the peak of summer, everything burns down. Okay, and the savanna grasslands absolutely are, become dry and arid. And in that dry and arid environment, something happens. A single shoot of green regrows. And then again, the cycle of life continues. Now, what is that ingredient, or what is it that is there in that little single shoot of green? The color green comes from chlorophyll, right? A very interesting fact is that chlorophyll and blood that our human body is composed of, one is green in color, the other is red in color. They both structurally and in terms of their composition are very, very same. What that tells us is that this particular component is what we can scientifically consider as an indestructible life force that helps to keep the circle of life moving, which is how you have, grasslands absolutely drying and burning down and then again regrowing. That's how the cycle of life also kind of continues. Now, why am I making this particular statement is that what this tells us is that this indestructible little vital force that is the basis of life is what has helped us as human race survive and adapt for millions of years. Okay, and what that also tells us is that therefore this mechanism that we call the body is a result of evolution, over a period of millions of years. And the body is basically a very intelligent, self-directing, self-serving, self-structuring, and self-driving mechanism. Okay? It is working on itself. There is very little that we are doing consciously if we were to leave it to the body, because the sole aim of our body and each and every cell that our body is composed of, the sole aim of all of this is to keep us in a state of health, optimum health. and therefore, if this is the focus of ourselves to keep us healthy, then what is it that how are these cells managing to do so? Do we know that the cells in our body store energy for exactly 3 seconds? I'm giving you some very interesting facts. Only 3 seconds before it expends that energy. How does this happen? What does this really mean? What it tells us is that the cells basically have that kind of faith and belief in the synchronicity of the body, the mechanism as a whole, where there is a sort of trust and faith that every 3 seconds I will get the energy that I need to perform my functions. Can you imagine that level of faith that the cell has? What it means is that it goes with the belief that I will get what I need, so I don't need to hoard onto energy, and the body is self-directing. It will work in sync with its own internal rhythms, and I will get what I want. What it means is that it believes in the infinite intelligence of the body to work and perform its functions according to its structure without any kind of disruption. Now, if this is the body's intelligence, you will wonder that if that is the case, why do we have so many people, so many illnesses? Do we know that in the last 100 years, we may have seen a certain kind of acceleration in the body's ability to keep acceleration in all forms of diseases. Certainly, all forms of diseases, there has been an acceleration in the last 100 years or maybe 150 years. This also corresponds with the growth and advancement of modern medicine, interestingly. Yeah. Now, what is it telling us? It's basically telling us that somewhere before, the advent of modern medicine, it is not as if people did not fall sick or they did not heal themselves or anything like that. All that happened. But there has been a certain kind of intervention and disruption that has happened, along with industrial advancement and everything else, the modernization of the world, that today, the way we look at human health and then the way we look at inputs that impact human health has also undergone a lot of changes. So this is where I come back to the subject of living the human being's ability to, the human body's ability and the tendency to thrive only when it lives in tune with its natural rhythm. Okay? When that gets disrupted, some form of ill health is bound to affect the health. Okay? Now, this may sound a little kind of philosophical and all of that, so I'm kind of going to now break this down. Now, let's look at the function of our body. What is the role of our body? The role of our body is basically to help provide enough energy for all its organs to function optimally. Okay? And at the same time, find a way to kind of maintain itself through all the wear and tear that is happening in the body. So this is basically what the body's function is. Now, food plays a very, very important role in all of this, because food is the only input that we can provide to the body that can help the body perform all these functions. Food actually performs three very important functions. It provides nourishment to the body to grow and maintain itself. It also provides the energy to the body to repair all the wear and tear that occurs. And as a result of the repair work, it also helps the body have the energy to cleanse itself. So the body is, when I say the body is a self-directing mechanism, it uses energy as a means to grow and maintain itself. It uses energy as a means to repair itself, and it uses energy as a means to also cleanse and detoxify itself of all the toxic residue that also get formed in our body as a result of this function. Now, every activity that we perform results in some kind of toxic residue in the body. So for example, right now when I'm talking to you, the mere act of communication is also causing some kind of toxic residue in the body. When we eat food, the body digests some food and leaves behind some kind of toxic residue. When we perform any kind of physical activity, the body leaves behind lactic acid as toxic residue in our muscles, okay? Which also needs a way of release. So, how does the body, therefore, use this energy? And how is it that the body finds its nutritive balance? Okay, now, food plays a role to energize the body to perform its function optimally. Now, what does optimally really mean? Optimally means that the heart functions to its optimum capacity, the lungs perform to their optimum capacity, the liver performs its role well, the kidneys, the digestive system, everything is performing its role well, like a well-oiled machinery with as minimum disruption as possible. This is possible if the body gets food in a way that is designed to allow the body to perform its function well. But today we are having a lot of foods that may not be serving the body very well. Okay, so now let's look at what is it that what kind of food the body needs. The body needs foods that are natural, very wholesome in its nutrient profile, so that with all kinds of wholesome nutrients in its profile. Body needs food which is easy to digest. Body needs food which is easy to eliminate, and body needs food that leaves behind a residue which is not very toxic in nature. All kinds of natural foods, therefore, help the body achieve this. So, for example, what kind of food meet all these criteria? All the foods that nature has given us, which human beings can consume, whether it's fruits, vegetables, nuts, sprouts, seeds, these are all the foods that actually meet all these criteria. They are wholesome in their nutrient profile, they are easy to digest, they leave behind a non-toxic residue, as long as the food is not processed, manufactured, denatured. That's what it is. Okay. Now, for what do we mean by nutritive balance? Does nutrition come only from food? Now, here there is a very, very interesting definition that I came across, when I was studying about this. So, a nutrient, like I just said, is defined as anything that creates energy for the body. Okay, so basically, a nutrient is anything which is an energizer for the body. Now, for a moment, just take a pause and think about everything that can energize the body. Is it only food? Not necessarily, right? If you look around, there are many things that will provide energies or energizers to your body. Apart from food, we need water, we need oxygen, we need plenty of sunlight, we need movement, we need activity, um, we need social connect, we need harmonious relationships, we need everything that can provide the body with a feeling of joy and energy.
Prana also.
Yes, prana.
We have a school of energy.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So pranic. So pranic energy also, where does it come from? From all of this. Yeah. So if you actually think about the inputs to the body, while this is all that gives your body nutritive balance, there are 4 of them that I would want to highlight as larger categories. The primary one is nutrition, because nutrition through food is what provides construction material to your body. Okay, each and every cell of your body grows, thrives, uh, regenerates itself, and also finishes its life cycle and degenerates, all because of the construction material that is provided to the body through food and nourishment. Okay, the second input that the body requires is rest and relaxation, which can be in form of sleep, which can be in form of any activity that gives you joy and a sense of purpose, a sense of abundance, a sense of feeling of relaxation, So that is the second input that the body needs. The third input, which is very important, is oxygen, or what you call prana, the life force that we receive from our environment. Okay, now they all play a very different role. So think about it like, what is the role of rest and relaxation? It is like charging your phone. Food and nutrition is providing you with the building blocks or the construction material. The oxygen is like providing air in the tire of a vehicle. It is what helps you move. It is that vital force which kind of helps you move. But all these 3 work well only when your body has a certain precondition to it. What is the kind of internal environment of the body? That precondition is an environment or a medium which is very alkaline in nature. And here I'm going to just take a pause and talk about the concept of what does it mean to have a body which is alkaline in its medium. Now, every function that the body performs, whether it is a function of digestion or repair or any function, walking, talking, eating, sleeping, all results in some form of toxic residue in the body. That toxic residue is acidic in nature. If you think about a human body, 70% of our human body is water. Okay, so if while overall, we may seem like a physical body with a skin and a structure, a skeletal-muscular structure and all of that. When we say 70% of our body is liquid, it is through our blood, the plasma, which basically binds the entire cellular structure together, and all the other bodily fluids that are there. So alkalinity as a medium is important for all these, liquid forms in the human body. So, for example, starting from our saliva to our urine, our digestive fluid, our blood, our sweat, everything needs to maintain a certain acidic alkaline balance. Okay. Normally, our body maintains the acid alkaline balance, which is on a scale of 0 to 14. The balance is somewhere between 6.9 to 7.35. Our blood maintains an acid alkaline balance of 7.35. Now, this acid alkaline balance varies for different fluids in our body. So it might be different for a saliva, it might be different for urine, it might be different for plasma, digestive fluids, etc. But suffice to say that we can't have a body which is extremely alkaline nor extremely acid. We need to have a medium. The internal medium has to be somewhere between 6.9 to 7.3 in its acid alkaline balance. Moment the body becomes more acidic in nature, it is like laying out a red carpet for various kind of illnesses to proliferate. Similarly, if the body becomes too alkaline, that is also not good. So maintaining this delicate balance is a very, very important thing. Now, how does the body maintain its acid alkaline balance? And I'll just talk about it. Naturally, it maintains through 4 processes. Respiration. You take in oxygen, you give out carbon dioxide. Okay? That is what is helping you maintain the balance. Second is perspiration. Every time you exert your body physically and you perform physical activity and your body perspires sweat, it is throwing out toxins through the largest eliminatory organ in our body, which is your skin. Okay. The third way in which the body maintains acid alkaline balance is through excretion, throwing out undigested toxic material from the body. Okay. The fourth is urination. Now, what this is telling us is basically that the body maintains the alkaline balance through the process of elimination, because even respiration is a way to eliminate carbon dioxide, perspiration is a way to eliminate toxins, so is excretion and urination. Okay. So detoxification is the way in which the body maintains its balance. To help the body detoxify, the food that we eat should be such that it enables the body to cleanse itself effectively and optimally. Okay? To be able to cleanse itself well, the body first should be able to repair and maintain itself well, because the cleansing can only happen after the repair is done. And for the body to be able to even repair itself, it first needs to be in a state where it has energy to even grow itself, provide energy on a regular basis to keep up the functions. Now, how does the body do that? The body does this through the food that we eat, but it works in a natural rhythm. The body's internal biorhythms are actually in sync with nature's rhythm, which is why when it is sundown, the body goes into a rest mode and we feel that, we need to recharge our body. That's why we sleep at night and we are most active when the sun is up in the air. Now, if we were to actually look at this, this is called the body's circadian rhythm, where the body performs these 3 functions. Okay, the body performs the functions of providing energy for growth, providing energy for repair, and providing energy for detoxification or cleansing. This happens in a cycle. During the peak of the sun, peak of the day, which is from 12 noon to 8 in the night, is when the body's circadian rhythm is at its peak to help the body receive energy for growth. That is the time when the digestive function of the body performs at its peak levels. That is the time when you give food to the body is able to digest it to its most effective and optimal manner. From 8 o'clock in the night to 4 in the morning, the body ideally would like to move into the repair function, because what happens is that as a result of all the digestion processes that are going on, there is a lot of wear and tear that is happening in the body. So only when the body is in a state of rest can it do the repair. So after 8, ideally, we should not be eating any food. In fact, from 8 to 4 in the morning, the body does not need any food. What the body needs as a recharge medium is good quality sleep. Okay? Only when the body is in a state of good quality sleep, deep, restful sleep, can it perform the function of repair optimally. Morning 4 a.m. to 12 noon is when the body gets into the detoxification mode. That is when the body is ready to cleanse itself of all the toxins, which is why when you wake up in the morning, your body naturally, provides you the urge to eliminate, toxins through excretion and urination. But, just the morning cycle doesn't mean that the process is over. In fact, the process is still going on up to 12 noon. But it also so happens that, interestingly, when we wake up in the morning, that's also the time when we do tend to feel hungry. The body is demanding energy. Now, if we would like the body to perform the function of cleansing effectively, then we can only do that by helping the body choose that kind of food that can provide energy to the body and yet carry out the cleansing and the detoxification function with minimum disruption. Now, there is one food group that fits this bill ideally, and that is fruits. Fruit is considered a food that provides not only a lot of energy to the body in terms of instant energy, because it gets digested and absorbed very, very quickly. It takes maximum of 2 hours for fruit to be fully absorbed by the body. Within the first 20 to 30 minutes, the food is digested in the stomach and it proceeds into your small intestine. And within 2 hours, it would get completely absorbed. Now, the nature of fruit as a food group is such, it actually mimics what the body's ideal nutrient requirement is. It is 70% water. It is full of wholesome nutrients and minerals. It has the necessary fiber that the body needs to cleanse itself, which is what makes food an ideal food group that provides the body not just with energy, instant energy, but it is also considered as a great cleanser for the body. So it's always a good idea to make fruits as the first thing that you could consume in the morning, and make fruits as a very important part of your nutritional intake on a daily basis. Okay, so that's recommendation number 1. What about other food groups like vegetables, nuts, sprouts, etc.? What is the role that they play? They play the role of body builders. So they also provide energy, but they also help build the body. They're providing the construction material to the body. Okay. Now, what do we mean by a body operating at optimum health? When we say the body is operating at optimum health, what we mean is that the body actually has optimum energy to perform all its functions. Now, what happens when the body does not get enough energy? When the input that the body receives may be less or inadequate to fulfill the body's energy needs, what happens to the body? This is something very interesting, and one must understand this. When there is not enough support the body receives in terms of nourishment from the foods that we choose, the natural reaction of the body is, what? It conserves energy. It starts doing less. When the body gets into energy conservation, what it does is it says, you know what, I need to only optimize and focus on important tasks, but I will not spend the energy on tasks that I don't consider very important because I have to prioritize. Now, when that happens, it starts doing and it stops sending energy to certain parts of your body, which it considers as less important. So maybe your skin, your hair. Okay. So you will find that there is hair fall, skin is dry, or skin is unhealthy, or rash or something, because body is operating out of the principle of optimal energy utilization. Important organs will get energy, less important organs will have to wait because I have less energy. Now, what happens? It is almost like, when there is less money in the bank, what do? You will prioritize your spending pattern. The body is doing the same thing here. When input is less and when body gets into the conservation mode, the next thing that happens after the body, so the body is going into coping stage. In coping stage, what is the body doing? It is basically saying it is rationing energy. It will only use on where it needs, otherwise it will not use. When it starts rationing energy, that is when you start seeing some other symptoms. And those symptoms are called cravings. When the body starts seeking a lot of salty foods, it is a signal that what the body is actually in need of is minerals and nutrients for cleansing. That is when we start craving a lot of salty food. When we start craving a lot of sweet foods, sugar-based foods, it is a signal the body is providing that is telling us that it is lacking in energy. It is looking for energizers, but there is not enough energy. There is not enough cash reserves or energy in the body. Okay. When there is craving for fried foods, it is a signal that what the body is looking for is energy for lubricants in the body. It is lacking in lubricants. That is when the body goes for fried foods. Okay. And after this, the third stage, the body starts giving some more signals when we are continuously operating at low energy level. You know what are those symptoms? The body will get into spring cleaning. The body says, there is less energy, I don't have enough, so I'm going to do some spring cleaning. So how does it do some spring cleaning? You start having coughs, you start having colds, you'll start having skin rash, you'll start having diarrhea. Essentially, these are all signs the body says, you know what, I can't stay in coping stage for too long. I need to bring myself back to balance. So how do I bring myself back to balance? I have to drive out some old toxicity somehow and replenish, come back to balance so that, you can again re-energize yourself and, bring the health back to balance. So every time when we have the occasional cold, cough, fever, rash, and all of that, it is a signal the body is providing that, too much of toxicity has built up. I'm not getting enough time to do repair. I'm not getting enough time to detoxify because energy is less. Why is energy less? Because the choices of food that we are making are such that we are consuming a lot of energy in digestion, but providing very less energy in form of nutrition to the body. Now, this is something like return on investment. Sometimes, when you think about it as investing your money in those instruments where The cost of investment is too high, but the return is too low. Now let's try and understand what are those food groups that actually lead us to this. And this is where I'm going to talk about food in the context of 4 categories, and why nutritive balance is a very important thing. Category 1 is foods that we call cash foods. These are foods that provide us with instant energy. Any guesses which food will qualify here? We already talked about it. Fruit.
Almond. Fruits.
Fruits. Yes. Fruits will be, feel free to chime in. Fruits are cash foods. They provide instant energy. Okay. Now, the second category of foods are called what you call, one is cash, the other is bearer check. Bearer check meaning you don't get energy instantly, but you will get with a little bit of lag. So all your vegetables, sprouts, all forms of vegetables and sprouts, and even some cereals go into this category. Bearer checks. They take a little energy, but they do provide you, they take a little bit more energy to digest, but they provide you with reasonably good energy. The third category is called checks. When you sign out a check to somebody, somebody has to go and deposit the check, and only then the money is received. So there are certain food groups which actually take a little more long time to digest. So food take minimum time to digest, which is less than 2 hours. Your bearer check foods, which are your vegetables, they actually take probably between 2 to 4 hours to digest. And then you have the category which is what we call, the signed check. Now, these foods take longer digestion time. It can vary from 6 hours to maybe 24 hours. Many foods are part of this. So basically, all your nuts and seeds and legumes, whole grains, they are all part of this category. And then there is a fourth category, which is checks that bounce. Checks that bounce are those foods which take a lot of digestive energy from the body, but take a very, very long time to digest. They sit in your digestive tract for a very long time. Now, these food categories are less of energy givers. They actually put your body into a negative energy balance, in the sense that on one hand, you have the cash foods that put your body in a positive energy balance. What it means is gives more energy, but takes less energy to digest. So you are in a surplus energy on one end of the spectrum. Now think on the opposite end of the spectrum, food groups that take away a lot of energy for digestion, but yield less energy or take a long time to give you sustained source of energy. These are all food groups that are processed or difficult to digest. Okay. So whites, there are 5 whites which are part of this category: sugar, salt, white flour, oil, dairy, and animal-based proteins. All kinds of processed junk food get categorized as foods that are energy depleters, in the sense that the return on investment in terms of the energy balance. Remember, the topic today is nutritive balance, and nutrition is a source of energy. I want you all to get this concept very clear in your head. I'm talking about the energy body expends in digestion. Ideally, for the body to achieve optimal nutritive balance, the body should be supported in a way where we have the choice to choose what will go as input into our body. as long as we make sure that at least 50 to 60% of the food that we consume in our plate on a daily basis are those foods that will keep the body in a positive energy balance situation. Those kind of foods will help the body maintain sustained energy levels. Now, each one of us is very different. Some of us, we are all unique individuals. Some of us, when we wake up in the morning, we feel very hungry, and we feel low in energy. Some of us feel low in energy in the evening. Some of us probably feel energy depleted by the time it is afternoon. It is really for us to observe our lifestyle, our food intake patterns, to understand that what is it that we are consuming and how is our energy level getting maintained. Basically, become aware of who you are, how whatever you eat is affecting your body. Okay, that's the most important. The first step is awareness. Some people may say that, what, I need more energy in the morning, and therefore I need to eat food first thing in the morning. What it is telling you is that probably in the evening you are not eating those kind of foods that are giving you sustained level of energy to maintain in the morning. If you're feeling energy depleted in the evening, that is also telling you that in the morning, are you consuming foods that will fill up your surplus so that you have enough energy in the body to maintain you throughout the day. Now, let's kind of circle back to the concept of the circadian rhythm. Remember the three functions I talked about? Cleansing, growth, repair. When the body is in the cleansing stage from morning to noon, you make sure that you have given enough, you're eating enough fruits. A lot of times, we end up eating maybe half a fruit or one fruit or something like that. The first rule of fruit is that make sure you're eating it on an empty stomach and consume sufficient fruit so that you are getting good quality nutrients, hydration, minerals, and fiber, giving that to your body. And consume sufficient amount of fruits. What kind of fruits? Anything that is local, seasonal, available in your region. That is the food that your body is perhaps most adapted for. Though, of course, today we probably are moving around in different cities and all of that, and we have certain fruits that are available all year round. But reach out for local, seasonal, regional fruits and make sure that that is important part of your diet. Make sure that you are consuming enough vegetables, nuts, sprouts. These are all foods that can be consumed in their raw forms, as salads, nuts and salads, because nuts, salads, vegetables are body builders. Make sure they're part of your food. What about cooked food? Cooked food actually tends to take more time to digest, takes more of digestive energy, but you can't live without cooked food. So ideally, how should your plate be constructed? Ideally, 50% of the food that you consume should be raw and 50% should be cooked. Why? Because cooking as a process leads to some amount of nutritive loss. Okay. Now, what happens when there is nutritive loss? One of the most important constituents to help our body perform the digestive function effectively and optimally is the enzymes that we receive from our foods. Now, when we eat cooked food, there is a loss of enzyme. Okay. But when you make sure that half of your food intake through the day is some form of raw, you are actually supplying your body with digestive enzymes, which will aid your digestion. So a lot of times, you may have heard a lot of people, nutritionists tell you that, you start your meal by eating some salad first. Why do you do that? because you're preparing sort of, you're preparing your stomach lining to kind of get those digestive enzymes so that it makes the digestion process of the subsequent food that you're going to eat more effective. So raw is the best way to ensure that your body is getting digestive enzymes externally. What does it mean about, fried foods and foods like dairy, or people who are eating, animal proteins? Should I stop eating that? No, that is not the thing. The point is that we may be eating as per whatever be our pattern, but just make sure that we are somehow trying to find balance. If raw is not part of your diet, try to bring some amount of raw, and fruit is the ideal way of bringing raw because it is most palatable way of eating raw. If you don't do anything else, you make sure that you are having sufficient fruits as part of your daily intake, you are actually supporting your body very well. Okay. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, so just give me a second. I just want to make sure that I've covered some of the points. Yeah. We talked about energizers and being aware of how food is working on your body. Okay. I use the wrong term. It is not foods that work on your body. We always tend to think that food works on the body. Actually, it is not that. It is the body which is working on the food. So what is the kind of environment the body has? If the body's internal environment is alkaline in nature, which means when is the body alkaline in nature? When the body is able to maintain balance of growth, repair, and cleansing. When the body is optimally able to carry out all these functions effectively on a regular basis, then there is chance that the body's environment may be alkaline. But if, for example, we are not getting enough sleep, if our sleep is inadequate, then chances are that our repair function of the body is getting compromised. If our food intake window is very long, from morning to late at night, we are eating multiple meals a day or whatever it is, or we are eating a heavy breakfast in the morning and we are also having a late dinner in the night, then also that window is becoming so wide that there is very little time that the body will have to carry out repair and cleansing. When the body is not able to carry out these two functions effectively, there's bound to be a sort of backlog that the body will create of not enough repair done and therefore not enough detoxification done. And remember one thing, the interesting part about digestion as a process is such that every time you put any food in your mouth, the digestion process gets kick-started. Even if you take a sip of water, the body will first start kick-starting the digestive mechanism because it has to digest even that water. What it means is that every time we give food to the body, that takes longer to digest, and the more time the body spends energy, the more energy the body spends in digestion, it will have less time and energy left for doing repair and cleansing. And then you will have a backlog of toxicity being built up in the body. When toxicity gets built up, the body finds itself in a state of coping. Okay. And when the body gets into the coping mode, that's when the body's internal environment starts changing. And that is when, either the body is getting into spring cleaning, or certain kind of toxic conditions will basically start attracting all kinds of, illnesses in the body. I think I kind of overshot. It's 9:25 by my time. We probably just said, but let's throw this open to questions.
Yeah, I mean, I think the time just went by very quickly with all
Yeah,
this
it's a very wide topic.
information. I know there's so much to share, but I just want to let everyone know this isn't the only session we're going to have with Rajshree. She's happily agreed to do at least one session a month, and we will be continuing in the next session on this. I'm going to look at some of the questions in this. Someone's asked, would a green smoothie be good to take as a cleansing stage?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So the green smoothie or the vegetable juice, as I would call it, is actually a great cleanser as well as a blood builder. Okay. So green smoothie is a great way to help your body receive flood of nutrients to detoxify more effectively. It is normally recommended when there is a high level of toxic buildup in the body. I would always recommend a green smoothie as a cleanser and a bodybuilder.
And there are two questions. What foods fall in the growth and repair category, and when to have foods for growth and repair?
Okay. So basically, for growth and repair, essentially, all wholesome foods, fruits, vegetables, nuts, sprouts, these are all, helping the body, right? For effective repair, you have to just make sure that you are consuming foods that provide you with enough nutrition. So having raw itself is a very essential precondition to helping your body do repair effectively. Why? Because it will take less time to digest and return a lot of nourishment to your body.
Another common question, can fruits be taken before cooked food, or there should be a gap?
Okay, so before, fruit should be consumed on an empty stomach. The gap between having fruit and then any other food group should be minimum of half an hour. After half an hour, once the fruit has left your stomach and moved into the small intestine, you can consume something else, but keep a half an hour gap.
Okay, so I'm just wanting to also let people know that I'm going to put Rajshree's WhatsApp number here. You can consult her for yourself. Of course, that'll be as a consultant, and she has her charges. You can consult her directly for specific cases, like someone's asking for fatty liver, this and that. I'll just put that in the chat, and you can consult her if you want. What she's shared here is in general. But if someone wants a personalized thing, you can consult her directly, ask her for an appointment, and she'll give you that. Someone else has asked a question. After COVID, I've lost my energy, lost 6 kgs. Any way to get my energy back fast?
Yeah. So first of all, look at what your lifestyle and general food consumption cycle is. Make sure that you are including fruits and dry fruits, nuts, vegetables in your diet. Movement is a very, very important part as well. I mean, some amount of movement is necessary. So make sure that there is some physical activity that you are also doing, because energy does not just come from food. Movement is a very, very important, to energize the body. Movement is also very, very important. But generally, just make sure that if fruits and dry fruits are not part of your diet, then do include them, because they are source of quick energy.
Vijay, you have your hand up. Would you like to ask your question now? You can unmute yourself, Vijay.
Yes. And the question was just related to fatty liver. Means it's non-alcoholic, but once or twice it was in control, but for a long
for
time.
specifics, just contact her directly here. We'll just keep it general. But Rajshree, if you'd like to just do a quick this thing on that.
Hello.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, I was saying that I'm having a fatty liver for a long time. It's a non-alcoholic. Only once or twice it came in the range when I was doing some rigorous walking. That's all. But it relapsed. Maybe the food habit is not good, and lack of exercise also. But what in general can we do to control?
So basically, at a very general level, and I know this is a very, very common issue for a lot of people, First of all, try to understand what does fatty liver mean. Basically, liver has stored a lot of fat. And what is the role of the liver? The function of the liver is to help the body detoxify. But when we have a condition called fatty liver, essentially what has happened is that over a period of time, through our lifestyle and dietary choices, body has been in coping mode for a very long time. When the body is in coping mode for a very long time and it is rationing energy, and I'm just going to take 5 minutes, Nina, for this, because it's a very important thing that I want to address for everybody's reference. Why are we hearing about this fatty liver as a very common thing today? Because of not only our food choices, our lifestyle, maybe lack of activity, lack of adequate sleep, stress, pollution, a lot of things. Now, I want to go back to this body coping, and I want to explain to you how this happens. When the body is in a coping state and it is rationing energy, two organs in our body take maximum energy, the brain and the liver. Brain, because it's processing a lot, and liver because it's doing the job of detoxification. Okay. Now, when the body is conserving energy, what does it do? It says, you know what, both of you can't function at the same time. That means when we are awake, the brain will function. When we are asleep and the brain shuts down, that is when the liver can function optimally to do its job of detoxification. Now, if we are not getting adequate sleep, and then the liver is not able to do its job of detoxification very well. That is one most important thing. The second thing is our dietary choices. So to aid the body detoxify, one needs to, do a sort of pull and stop, the machine. How do you do that? Basically, you have to make sure that you are changing your your food intakes. First of all, start taking a lot of fruits as the first food in the morning. Make sure that your body is well hydrated through the day. Okay. Make sure that you are including raw food along with your cooked food in your daily meals, at least your lunch and dinner. Make sure that you're getting good quality sleep. Sleep on time. It's very important to sleep at 10:30 and wake up by 5:36. Why? Because the peak time for liver detoxification is between 11 and 2. A lot of times, we tend to sleep late or we eat late. When we eat a late dinner, the body is still doing the digestion. So after eating a heavy meal, sometimes we feel that, oh yeah, we got a very deep sleep, but that deep sleep is because the body is doing digestion. So it puts you into a deep slump, but it is not doing the repair work. For repair work to happen, ideally your dinner should happen before 8. And if you are able to kind of sleep on time, consistently, and get good quality sleep, you have to aid the body, perform the detoxification. For that, our choice of lifestyle will enable that to happen. So this is just a very simple.
We will be doing specific sessions.
We will cover this.
Yeah, we will take it up over the period. This will be a continuous series. In
What
fact,
I
like
recommend,
she
Nina,
mentioned,
is one point is that people will come up with some of these questions. Maybe one of the things is we can make a list of subjects that they want to cover for our subsequent sessions.
So I was just coming to that point. In fact, we have our Facebook page, Atmatva, that's the center's name. I've been streaming this session live on the Facebook page. You can go and refer back to it. You can put your questions, suggestions in the comment section over there. And, Rajshree already mentioned movement, things like that. So as part of these series, we'll actually be taking up different aspects. We'll be taking up energy healing. We will be taking up movement, exercise, corrective exercises for certain issues. That's my department, literally, So we'll be taking up different topics. The whole idea is to move towards a healthy body, a wholesome, healthy body, but not just the body, mind, soul, body, everything. Okay, so we'll be taking that up. One last question. We're already 5 minutes over the time, but one last question, which is very common, is I'm borderline Someone has asked, I'm borderline sugar. So I think that means borderline diabetic. Can I have fruits? I think that's a very common thing, Rajshree, that we get, that people think that if they are, pre-diabetic or diabetic, they cannot eat fruits. And so could you just quickly share something on that, and then we'll wrap up for today. And guys, we'll be back, as I said, if you are on our page, the page on Facebook is Atmatva. We have an Instagram account, Atmatva. Some of you are already there on our WhatsApp announcement groups. You can just follow us there, and we'll keep you posted, for all our sessions. And you can, to be on the WhatsApp announcement group, I'm again putting that number as well here. So, you can just send us a message and we'll put you there. So could you take that question up?
Yes, I'll just quickly answer that question. First of all, if you are even borderline diabetic, I know a lot of people think that fruits is a no-no, but the thing is, you can have fruits, but you have to have them on empty stomach. You should never have fruits along with some meal or after a meal, because when it is combined with something else, then that fruit does not serve you well. But if you have it on an empty stomach, then you can have fruits. It's a sort of misunderstanding that fruits cause the blood sugar to increase. It does not happen. The reason being that fruits take such minimum time to digest, okay, that the fructose in the fruit, first of all, it has to get absorbed in the bloods. It has to get fully digested because of the fiber and the water content in the food before it's released into the bloodstream. So fruit sugar, that is fructose, will never cause spikes in your blood sugar levels. It can happen when you eat a biscuit, or it can happen when you eat even a paratha, but it will not happen if you have fruits on an empty stomach. A very short.
I think one thing that you've always told us is not to have fruits combined with other foods, or not to have another food immediately after eating a fruit like many people do. I remember that from so many years, and I think that's really helped me do that. So thank you very, very much. As usual, we also have your previous sessions on our Facebook page, guys. It's under the heading Food is Medicine. In fact, not just one, there are two of them. We did part 1, and because in part 1, we had not finished, we did part 2. You'll still find those videos on our page. It's there. You can go and view it. Again, same question, Monica. Mangoes after a meal? No, it's a big no-no. Mangoes in milkshake, I remember, was one big thing that I had to give up. But we'll keep coming back. I don't want to take more of her time. It's late, I know, in Singapore. And go back. You can go to our Facebook page, put on your questions there, and whenever Rajshree has time, she'll answer them either in the comments right there, or you can reach out to her directly. So once again, thanks a ton, Rajshree, for taking out your time. I know you're a very busy person. Thank you, everyone who joined in. We certainly hope you found it useful. And let us have your feedback, and we'll see you next time. So thanks again. See you.
Thank you, Nina. And thank you all for being a very patient and wonderful audience. And I look forward to, seeing you all again, please.
All right. By the way, Rajshree is also a pranic healer, huh? So I forgot to add that in the beginning. She's also done the pranic healing workshops. All right.
Nina.
Okay. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.